Hey everybody, it's me, Frank Fry, the Gaming Geezer. Yeah, I'm back. I had some family matters to attend to, but I'm back. This video is a response to Runeslinger's video about how long should it take to learn a new game. Well, I'd like to expand on that and go ahead and give some idea of what happens when you do learn a new game, and, well, we'll get to that. As many of you know, I'm not just a role-playing gamer. I'm also historical miniatures. I do skirmish style of gaming from the Dark Ages, the Viking Age, up to World War II. And I've done this for a long time. I've been doing historical miniatures probably a few years longer than I've been doing role-playing games, simply because when I started in historical miniatures in 1972, there weren't any role-playing games. Okay. My favorite World War II set is called Disposable Heroes. I really enjoy it. I've been playing it since it just about first came out in 2007. I've got a couple of videos, I think at least one video in which I review it. Well, and I just enjoyed it. I played it in different periods, from the American Civil War up to World War II, with intermediate stops, World War I, and the German invasion of Florida in 1904. Don't bother trying to look the last one up in history books. It never happened. The only real German invasion we ever got were German tourists. The 1990s. Anyway, so along comes a new game. This. It's Bold Action. Now, it's got a good pedigree. Osprey Publishing. She does fantastic work in terms of war games, but mostly in terms of guidebooks to different militaries throughout history. And they're relatively inexpensive. I've always recommended them as a very good source of information if you want to do historical RPGs. Okay. Anyway, so I took a look at this, and I said, okay, this looks pretty good. And Warlord Games, I've bought a lot of their stuff. They sell miniatures. Yep. Tanks, vehicles, soldiers. The very stuff that, of course, you'd use to play Bold Action, so, of course, they're in on it, too. Now, what I had suspected when I read who the authors were, that this was probably going to be a lot like Warhammer, or Warhammer 40K more specifically, from Games Workshop. I, years ago, took a shot at playing Warhammer 40K, and quite frankly, wound up giving away my army to a friend of mine. It didn't do anything for me. Lots of people play it, still play it, and enjoy it. Good on them. Glad you're having a good time. I didn't, for a variety of reasons that I really don't want to go into here. Now, there is a tendency to refer to this book, Bold Action, as Warhammer 1940. And I should have probably realized that. I didn't. I bought the book. I bought two of the supplements on the German army and the American army, because those are the armies I have the figures for. And I went at it. I even got the Army Builder software, add-on, update, whatever, so I could do bold action army lists. Uh, let's see, this is 2013, I went to my first bold action big time tournament in Orlando at the Crucible 3 convention. Now I went there, and what the army lists I put together, historically based. I was going to play this like I was going to play bold action like it was Disposable Heroes, in which, yes, you get a lot of the historically based stuff, the equipment and all of that. You use the tactics. To be quite honest, I'd had a couple of run-throughs with the rules. It seemed easy enough, sort of. And I thought, well, what the hell? I'd probably go in there and do halfway decent. So I went in there, and I didn't realize it at the time, looking to play Disposable Heroes, but using bold action. Well, the inevitable happened. I got my ass handed to me. Frequently. I lost every game I played in, which I think was 9 of them, except for one, and that was a draw. There you go. I was pissed, embarrassed, aggravated. Some of the rules in bold action, I thought, this is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But it was the way they did it, so what the hell. Anyway, I had forgotten one quintessential factor in this sort of list building game, and it was list building. You're not really fighting a German army or a German unit that looks pretty much like a Wehrmacht unit in terms of organization. You're fighting somebody else's list. I need 1,000 points. Boom. But yeah, I can pick this, 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 and this. So you're kind of going, where the hell did that come from? There were a couple of other things, procedural things. But oh man, that was it. I damn near gave the books away and said, screw this, I am not playing this stupid effing game again. But I didn't. You see, the one thing that really sold it for me in some respects, it actually kept me from throwing the books away, was the people I gamed with. Some really, really great folks that I'm very glad I'm their friend today. Patrick Ballinger, John Brown, a host of others were very, very good to me. So, but I said, no, I've had enough. And the book sat on my shelf, and I said, screw this. Anyway, about a month ago, I actually read an article on a bold action forum. Yes, I still read them. And the guy pretty much said, what goes wrong is when you try to play bold, don't try to play bold action as if it were some other game, because it's not going to work. Secondly, you have to practice because it is a list-based game. You have to really refine those lists, which I didn't. I just, well, it's the TO&E. And what he said made sense. Now, there's still a couple of rules in there that irk me, but it's like, yeah, so what? I get a good game out of this, it's fine. So I am actually now going to go back to play some more bold action. And the point I'm making is, Runeslinger is right when he talks about going into learning a new game and still trying to play it like the old one. Now, let me add right now, I will still play Disposable Heroes every chance I get. And it's man-to-man version called Point Blank. I love those games. I will play them whenever I can. But I'm also going to play bold action again. people and for the fact I went at it with a wrong-headed attitude. That's why I lost. Wargaming, miniatures wargaming, is really, it's win-lose. Ultimately, it's zero-sum. You're either going to beat the guy across the table and win, or you're not. You know, fight to a draw. Role-playing, especially if you get into heavy, combat situations, stuff like that, it's going to be the same thing. But don't walk into an RPG and I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you another example. Years ago, I was playing in an Oriental AD&D campaign. I think that was the Kara Tour at that point setting. I was playing a very unique character called he was a ninja slash Sohei. Basically, they used their ninja talents to fight for good. But he was I believe, chaotic good. Tanaka was a chaotic good character. Well, since I'd had expertise in role playing, and I'm not claiming to be I'd had experience, let's say, I managed to work my character up to 5th level, which at one point meant I'm the guy that stood in front of the rest of the party and got the snot beat out of him because I had enough hit points I could take it. I didn't care. Somebody has to do it. His final adventure was we actually were playing in a module called, I believe it's called the Knight of the Seven Swords. I thought it was pretty cool. Another thing, we played with a GM who actually awarded you experience points for acting within the culture. He had taken, I think, or he'd had like 3 semesters of Japanese history and culture in college. He knew how to run it. So we would get experience points for behaving as if we were part of this culture. They weren't huge dollops, but we do. I'd stand there with one of my friends, a party member. What do you do? We're watching the moon rise over the trees and commenting on it. I did a solitaire adventure where I heard a baby crying in the lonely winter night. I made a haiku. I got experience points for that. Ultimately, Tanaka met his fate, by the way, in either the Knight of the Seven Swords or the House of the Seven Swords. I can't remember. One of the opposition we turned up against was a 13th level Ronin. Well, the young samurai, who was in effect the head of the party, he was obligated, and he stepped right out there. I think he was 2nd level. Yeah, he got his clock cleaned. Wasn't dead, but was pretty much out of it. The others were doing the typical, I'd say almost, the Western. So they were supposed to be Bushi, warriors. They're hiding behind objects, trying to shoot it with arrows or this, that, and the other. It was some typical dungeon party behavior. And my character stepped out and confronted. I stood over the body of my fallen lord, just like you were supposed to. And it was quite a duel. I managed to land a critical hit on the 13th level Ronin. He landed one on me, and I was still on my feet. We dueled for a little bit more, and then he landed another critical hit, and that was it. Tanaka was dead. And mind you, this is in a world where there is no resurrection. Once you're dead because it's reincarnation. Did I feel bad? No. Some of the other players did, but I didn't. I said, he died a glorious death. He died in service to his Lord. He died like a samurai. Because this is what happened. I took the chance. I stepped up. Why? Because it's what my character would have done. It's what the culture, the society, would have demanded of the character. That was a wonderful, to me, way to go. I felt no ill feelings at all. I thought it was terrific. He had had an interesting life, an interesting career as an adventurer. He died with honor. He died in a way that was culturally acceptable to the society in which he lived. In fact, the game master was so impressed that I rolled up another character. I said, I'll roll up his little sister. She'll be I think she was a Shugenja. She was a wizard and a ninja. And he awarded me X amount of karma points. I'm trying to think of it. It was a substantive amount because of what my character had done. But in the end, I didn't do it for the character points. I didn't do it for any other reason than it's what he would have done. Now keep that in mind. When you are learning a new game, don't just study the rules. Study the setting. And do not try to play it like the games you used to play, because it doesn't work. Trust me. I know. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I hope you all have an enjoyable hump day. And oh God, that didn't sound right. Anyway, everybody, Runeslinger, thanks for your interesting questions. This is Frank Fry, the Gaming Geezer, saying, have fun, play games!